Hello, this is Davide Biocchi speaking, and this is my weekly intermarket analysis. Let's start as usual with the euro dollar that, let's say, went for a new trend right now. After this breakout, the market changed completely the environment, and since, let's say, we have been here on the low, the market recovered more or less 10%, about 10 figures from 0.95 something to 1.055. So this is really a quite good trend recently. And as we have seen, starting from the last 2-3 days, the market abandoned these prices around 1.037 that worked a lot as a resistance, and right now the market is going to 1.065, more or less around here, next resistance, and let's say final short-term target around 1.08, more or less here. So the situation is quite interesting, and the impact of this movement on the euro dollar is visible, especially in commodities like the gold. So let's switch immediately after to the gold, where we have seen the market reaching the very interesting level of 1,815 that we assumed as a target for our recovery here. This recovery was justified not only by the dollar, now weaker than the euro since, let's say, 3 weeks, more or less, but especially also by the fact that the gold is an alternative for the T-note, 10 years T-note, and so we have the yield of a T-note going down, and so the gold is recovering. Quite relevant levels will be 1,620, 1,680, and 1,730 as a support here, and then the next step will be around 1,865 to 70 as a potential next target in case of violation of this level. So quite interesting situation on the gold, but also quite interesting situation also on the crude oil. Starting today, we have the new cap on the Russian oil at $60 per barrel. So the situation here is that still remain this target around 94, 93, $94 per barrel as a resistance. We have an intermediate level around 82, and not so far from the price where the crude oil is right now. And then finally, we have a very strong support at 76. So let's see if after this decision, the crude oil will maintain its short-term trading range very small, 76 to 82 here, or if it will go for the largest one, let's say including the potential arrival to a price of 93, and this is what we can expect from this week. Let's switch to the stock indices and start from the European one. The DAX remained strong and still remains strong, not yet back to the level of 14,800, 15,000, that is the main resistance here. For sure, the market is more or less working around this previous, resistance, that more or less is 14,600. So let's see what is going to happen here. Stronger than this DAX is the stock 50 that was able to come back to the level of 4,000. This is a relevant level, not only because of a chart. This is the 4,000 price, but it involves a lot of meanings. Imagine that going back above a price of 4,000 means being back in the previous range where we are seeing the record high for the recent years, because to go back to the historical high, we have to go back to 2007. But these are the record high, recent record high, and this is exactly a price that was no longer seen after the beginning of the war. So this is a very strong, relevant resistance because, let's say, have a lot of meanings apart from the one that are coming from the resistance in the chart. So it's very interesting. And what is happening in the US indices? Let's start with the S&P. The S&P was able to move above the previous resistance around 4,040, and seems now to have a potential to try and attempt for 4,150. Don't forget that 4,300 is the sky if we think that, let's say, the pavement is around 3,600. So since April, we are up and down in this 700 points, let's say, sideways on the S&P 500. And obviously, the more we go to the top, the more we are optimistic. Let's say, the more we are pessimistic when we are down below the 3,750 and then also the 3,600 support. So let's see if the market will be able, more or less another 5% is needed to reach the top. If we will be there before the Federal Reserve meeting of next week, maybe around the price, maybe before the conclusion of the year, and then maybe down again. So let's see what is going to happen. The Nasdaq is not as strong as the S&P 500 is. Unfortunately, the growth stocks that are mainly part of this index did not do very well recently. So what we are planning here is about the possibility to see this market above the price of 12,000. In that case, maybe this resistance around 12,900 could be assumed as the next target. So let's see what is going to happen. And also because this is a quite interesting week, because we are only 1 week and some days, let's say 10 days, let's say from the Federal Reserve, that will be Wednesday. The day after we will have the ECB, and finally on Friday we will have the triple witches of December. So really an important day. So this is enough for me today. Thank you very much for being here with me. See you soon. Bye-bye.